According to the Fed rate monitoring tool, there's a good probability of lower than current interest rates that are going to take place sometime soon in 2024. And with lower interest rates, debt is going to be once again cheaper to obtain and to service, which is of course going to be bullish for real estate investment trusts. Now in this video, I'm going to go through 3 different real estate investment trusts that I think are offering a potential once in a lifetime opportunity to buy into these REITs and not only profit and lock in a nice starting dividend yield, but also have the potential to see some massive price return also. Now, if you consider yourself a REIT investor or even a dividend growth investor, make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get into the first REIT. I just finished my brand new dividend investing ebook where I share exactly how I went from 0 to now over 7 figures invested, and also on how I earned more than $6,000 per month in dividends. I also finished my custom dividend tracker that you can use to track your dividend income progress on an ongoing basis. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. So the first super high quality REIT that could be offering a massive buying opportunity still while it's trading where it is currently is ticker symbol ADC or GREE Realty Corporation. Now in this video, we are not going to dig too deep into each of the REITs and explain exactly what these REITs are and what they have to offer, their portfolios, etc. But you're just going to have to take my word for it that each of these 3 REITs we're going to be going through are all what I would consider to be the top quality REITs across the entire market. Now, to look into the performance of ADC over the last year, this REIT is not necessarily trading at a 52-week range low, but it is trading pretty close to it. ADC is also down around 19% over the last 1-year time frame, but if we zoom out and look at ADC's performance since around 1994, this REIT is up around 447% and pretty much has been trending straight up over the past few decades up until the most recent situation where interest rates have recently been raised like crazy. Now with ADC trading where it is currently, it's offering almost a 5% starting dividend yield, which across the entire market as of right now might not seem like the largest starting dividend yield across the board, but trust me, at least historically speaking, and as you can see right here on the last 5-year time frame, ADC very rarely crosses over the 5% starting yield mark, so much to the point to where it's only actually done so over the last 5 years for a very small amount of time, which once again shows that this could be a massive buying opportunity just because ADC doesn't normally offer this high of a starting yield. It normally historically over the last say 5 or so years offers around a 3 or 4% starting yield just because this REIT is very high quality. And a lot of times when you invest into REITs that are lower quality, you're going to get paid a little bit more for doing so because there's more risk involved. But with the GREE Realty, I consider this REIT very low on the risk front. So the fact that it's offering almost a 5% starting yield definitely should have investors' full attention. Now lastly, looking at ADC's dividends paid out on a monthly time frame because ADC does pay dividends now monthly, which it switched from quarterly back in 2020. ADC does have a little bit of dividend growth, although of course as far as REITs go, they're not necessarily the fastest as far as dividend growth, although over the past few years there have been small increases, which of course investors love. The next REIT that I think could be offering a once in a very long time buying opportunity for investors, especially long-term investors that is none other than ticker symbol O, Realty Income. Now, if you guys have watched my videos before, you know Realty Income is my largest single stock holding across my entire portfolios. I own currently just under 2,900 shares that I've been stacking now for almost 7 years. Now, Realty Income, a lot like ADC, is not trading at the low currently, but it is trending towards that way, offering investors a potential good entry point, especially for investors that have a long time frame. Now, ticker symbol O is down around 18.4% over the last year, but of course, over the long term, Realty Income has traded up and to the right pretty consistently, but once again, ever since interest rates have been raised significantly, Realty Income, along with pretty much all the REITs, have been trending down. Now, Realty Income is offering a 5.6% starting forward dividend yield, which, again, for long-term investors that have been buying Realty Income for years now, we remember when Realty Income was offering just above a 4% starting yield, so a 5.6 starting yield is very appealing. Not to mention, very similar to that of a GREE Realty, Realty Income doesn't normally offer, say, well above a 5% starting dividend yield. At least it hasn't that many times historically, although in 2020 it did for a few trading days, but since then there's only been a few moments in time that investors have been lucky enough to lock in a starting yield, say above 5.5%. Not to mention, Realty Income also does have a history of paying more and more in dividends over time. Now, historically speaking, there's been times where Realty Income has raised their dividend a little bit faster and a little bit slower. So it's of course hard to know if or if not Realty Income is going to do a massive increase like we saw back in 2012 and like we also saw back in 2021. But ever since then, Realty Income has been raising their dividend, like I said, on a consistent quarterly basis. And even though there's small bumps, if you gather more and more shares over time, these increases are definitely going to add up. Now, the last REIT that I think could be offering a great long-term buying opportunity is a REIT that I don't really see that many investors talk all that much about, but is a REIT that I own quite a few shares of. I'm talking about ticker symbol EXR, or extra storage space. Now, for a while now, I've seen storage units as a potential appealing investment opportunity. Even in real life, I always thought it'd be interesting to own a storage unit facility because it really seems like a great way to generate semi-passive income. But what's great about EXR, of course, is that you get exposure to some of the highest quality storage space facilities across America without having to spend so much money in building out your own. Now, extra space is down around 4% over the last year, so it's not down as much as the other two REITs. And also important note, it isn't trading towards the low end of the 52-week range. But on the max time frame, what's crazy about EXR is that it has grown like crazy over the past, say, 20 or so years. EXR is up over 1,000% as far as price return goes. So side note, this stock is going to have a little bit higher beta than that of Agree Realty or even Realty Income during most time frames. At least that's what I've seen. Now, this means that EXR might move around a little bit more and might wiggle the portfolio a little bit quicker here and there. But for investors that are willing to stomach those moves, it's definitely one to look into. Also important to note, extra space was trading well above $200 per share not all that long ago. And I happen to think that if and when interest rates get cut, say, a point or two over the next, say, 1 to 3 years, I definitely think, at least if nothing else changes, that we could see EXR back above $200 per share. But enough about price return when it comes to EXR. Looking into the dividend, a starting 4.38% forward dividend yield with a REIT that has one of the safest rated dividends across the entire market, comparing every single REIT out there. Now, very similar to ADC and Realty Income, there's only been a few moments over the past 5 years where EXR's yield has been this high and has offered investors a good entry point to lock in a well above 4% starting yield. Now, crazy enough, back in October, some investors might have been lucky enough to lock in a 6% starting yield with EXR, but the stock has recovered a lot since then. Now, if you would consider yourself an investor that favors dividend growth, and if you love to invest into different stocks and or ETFs that have a history of raising their dividends pretty fast, EXR is definitely the stock for you. So much so to the point to where back in 2020, which is not all that long ago, EXR was paying around 90 cents on a quarterly basis, which just as of recently, EXR announced a $1.62 dividend just around 3 years later. So across all the REITs currently, if you're looking for something that has the potential to see some massive price return over the next few years, offers a well above 4% starting yield, and has a history of raising their dividends very, very quickly, ticker symbol EXR, extra storage space, is definitely one to look into. So there we have it, guys. Those are 3 different REITs that I think could be offering a once in a very, very long time buying opportunity for dividend growth investors that want some exposure to some super, super high quality REITs. Now, of course, the reality is that we don't know exactly what's going to happen next when it comes to interest rates, and if or if not the Fed's going to cut them a little bit faster or slower. Again, all we have to go off of for the most part is the probability priced in right here on the Fed rate monitoring tool. But that being said, I do think for longer term investors like myself that are looking to buy into assets and then hold on to them, say for 1 to 5, 10, 20 years from now, I think this could be a great opportunity, historically at least, to lock in some nice starting yields with a lot of these super, super high quality REITs. But now I want to hear from you guys down below. Out of all 3 of the REITs we went through in today's video, Realty Income, Agree Realty, and of course, extra storage space, if you, for whatever reason, were only able to buy into one of them, which one would it be and why? Drop the ticker in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.